Hi, I'm Tom Mastriani, and welcome to Wine and Dine with Mastro. Today we're going to be cooking some crab stuffed mushrooms, and we're going to be matching them with a wine. And one thing special about my show is that we match the wine to the food. Okay, we'll show you how to open the wine, how to taste the wine, how to drink the wine, and then this way you'll get the full experience of how to prepare a meal and to display a meal and to show it off. So let's get on with it and start with the wine. Today we're going to start off with a Monkey Bay Sauvignon Blanc. It's from Marlborough, New Zealand. And it's light, it's crisp, a little fruity, not too sweet, and it goes very well with the meal we're preparing today. So let's start with opening it. It's very important to open the bottle properly. You don't want any sharp edges coming off the edge. And to start, you take a opener, and you want to have a nice sharp blade. You take the bottle, you hold it this way, and then you just cut around the edge. Okay? And if you go to a nice restaurant, usually they're going to do this right in front of you at the table. Okay, now you're going to take your corkscrew and just gently press the point of it right into the center of the bottle. Okay, give it a couple of turns. You want to get it down about halfway into the cork. Now you put this right on the edge. Make sure you have a firm base, because if you don't, some people hold it, and before you know it, boom, they pull the bottle, it falls, all sorts of mess, and you could spill it, ruin your shirt. Make a date look really bad. Smell the cork, because if the wine wasn't stored properly, and properly would be to lay it on its side so that the cork stays wet. If the cork dries out, air gets in there, it kills the wine, turns to vinegar. So you can clearly smell the vinegar in the wine. This bottle's good. Also, a wine ring, nice little decorative piece. You put that right over the top. It's actually called a drip ring, so it stops the bottle from dripping. All right, now we're going to pour the wine. So let's get a glass over here. Stemware is always good. Any kind of glass that looks nice always helps the presentation, makes everything taste better, depending on what you serve it in. You want nice plates, you want nice glasses. All right, we're going to pour some of this in here, and we're going to taste it. Just make sure it's good. Just swirl, let it air. One thing about letting the wine breathe is that it's been trapped in this bottle for who knows how long, a couple of years, a couple of months, depending on the wine, but you always want to let it breathe. It's almost as if the wine's been trapped in there for so many years. It's like letting the genie out of the bottle. So once the genie comes out of the bottle, first thing he's going to do is rub his eyes, because he's been in there so long. So you want to let it breathe, let the air get in there, let it come back to life. So then once it's had a chance to breathe, be ready to drink. Perfect. Nice and light, crisp. It'll go very well with the mushrooms. So let's get started with these mushrooms. All right, first we're going to put a little crab meat in here, and you want to get a nice spatula that's open so that you don't crush the meat. We're going to put about half of this into the bowl. So let's get it in here. That should do it. So let's mix all the ingredients. We have some jack cheese. Okay, we're going to put this in here. Okay, and let's do a little dill. All right, so we have some dill weed. This is very, it's a nice spice. I like dillweed because it's light, it's crisp, it really gives a light feeling to everything. We have some butter. We want to put some butter in here. And we could use melted butter, we can use regular butter. Just use butter. Don't use margarine or anything like that. We have some chopped chives. We'll put that in there. And we have some breadcrumbs. I like to use like Italian breadcrumbs. You can use plain breadcrumbs. The Italian ones add a little more flavor to it, so let's put that in there. Use about half a cup of that. And then we're going to put in a little egg, one egg that we've mixed up. And most especially, we're going to use a little lime juice just to cut the flavor a little bit and bring it all together. So we're going to stir this all together so that it's a nice, good mix. There you go. That's looking good. All right, so now that's ready to go. So let's put that over to the side for a minute. And let's go with the mushrooms here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take the mushrooms, we're going to destem them, okay, and just pull this out, and we're going to chop up the stems, okay? And chop them into nice small pieces, nice and thin. Use a good knife. It's always good to use a nice sharp knife. If you don't use a sharp knife, you'll be here all day. And we're going to chop these up. All right. So we've got a nice amount of mushrooms there. So now we're going to add the chopped mushroom stems to our mixture. Okay, let's get it in here. Make it a happy mix. So let's mix that back in there. Yeah, this is looking good. And while we're mixing this, our wine is airing very nicely. So there we go. All right, so now let's take some mushroom caps and we're going to stuff them with the crab meat mixture. So let's start with this. Put a small amount in each one. So you don't want to go too heavy because it's going to overpower the size of the mushroom when it starts to shrink. It's going to look like, where's the mushroom? Kind of like, where's the beef? Where's the bun? It's going to be one big lump of crab meat and no mushroom, which doesn't really look very good. All right, so we get that in there, make it nice, put it in the pan, grab another one, and there you go. All right, so now that we have our mushrooms in here, ready to go, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a small piece, a nice full piece of crab, and we're going to put it right on top of each one of these mushrooms. So just for the look. Remember, it's all about the look. Just a small piece on each one of these. Now, while we're doing this, I'm still thinking about that wine airing out. It's a beautiful wine, and it's going to complement this dish very well. The lightness of it and the crispness, it's going to blend so well with these mushrooms. All right, so now we're going to put a little butter in here. Put that in there, a little bit of butter. And we're going to turn the flame up a little bit. Not too high. You want to keep it at a decent heat, but you don't want to burn anything. These are going to be in here. We're just going to brown them a little bit on the bottom and add a little flavor. Now, we're going to take our wine, and we're going to add a little bit of the wine to the mix here while this is cooking. Just a little bit. All right. Now that's going to soak in. It's going to mix with the butter. It's going to make it taste really, really nice. Nice and smooth, clean. And again, it'll help to pair with the wine because it has the wine actually right in it. All right, we're going to turn the heat up a little bit, get this cooking, and then we're going to move it over to the oven and let it bake for a little while. We'll put it in the oven. There we go. While that's baking, let's move on to our next dish, and we're going to be doing an Avon chicken as the entree. All right, so now we're going to start with one of my favorite dishes. It's called Avon chicken. And what we have, it's really one of my favorites. It's chicken cutlet, lightly breaded, lightly cooked, with broccoli, cheese. We've got a little dill, paprika, and parsley. And we're going to start off by taking the chicken, flattening it out. It seems really complicated. There's a lot of ingredients here, but it's really nothing. It's very simple to use. Anybody can make this. And it's a hit. It's a great hit. If you make it at a dinner party or you make it just for your family for a regular dinner, it's really quick, it's really easy, and it's great. And it goes well with a really good wine. So let's start with the chicken. All right, we're going to take a cutlet. We're going to hammer it out, get it nice and flat. Okay, one of these mallets is really good with these little perforations in it to break up the chicken. Okay, I like to do both sides. So I'm going to flip it over, hang it out a little bit more. Remember, you want it thin. You want to keep it nice and thin because if it's too thick, it won't melt in your mouth, and it gets a little tough. So we're going to bang that out. We have, after that chicken's all done, remember we have some mushrooms cooking in the oven, so don't forget, if you smell something burning, it's too late. So let's go over to here. All right, look at those. They're beautiful. Perfect mushrooms. All right, so let's get down to the chicken. All right, we have it all pounded out here. Now what we want to do is we want to bread it. So get this out of the way. We're going to take some of our egg. I'm going to pour that in there. And what some people like to do is bread the cutlet after. But what we're going to do also, we're going to take some cheese. I'm going to put some cheese in there. I'm going to put some garlic pepper, a favorite of mine, and a little nutmeg. And that's it. So now we're going to mix this up a little. Okay. All right, so we get a plate over here, and we put our ingredients, or our breadcrumb mix, and we put it on the plate. That should do it. Put it out nice and thin on the plate. Give it a little shake. These are all special techniques. Only the top chefs use this. Get this thing breaded prior to putting it in the egg mix. So then, now we're going to take it, put it in here again, get it nice and well soaked, and then do a little magic, put it back into the breadcrumbs. This makes for a much, much better cutlet. A little thicker, better tasting cutlet. All right, so we're going to let that sit there for a second just to soak it up. We're going to take our skillet and we're going to put some oil and butter in it. Just add a little bit of this. Perfect. And we're going to take some butter. So let's turn up our pot. We have some butter and some oil in there, ready to go. And let's turn it up, get it nice and hot, because we're going to be pan frying the chicken cutlet. So when I first created this dish, I worked in a restaurant as a cook. And what happened was all the waitresses and waiters, at the end of the night, they were all hungry. They didn't get to eat all day, and they didn't want anything on the menu because they've had it over and over and over again. So I remember I used to work in a restaurant, and every night we had prime rib, prime rib, prime rib, prime rib. So after a while, you get tired of eating prime rib. Who would have thought? But so the waitresses would always come over and say, "Hey, let's make something different." So I always had to come up with these creations, and this is one of them. And it was a big hit, tremendous hit. So I've made this probably about a couple hundred times because it's that good. And you want to get the cutlet in here like so. Also, while this is cooking, what we want to do is put a boiling pot of water and we're going to steam some broccoli. Get some nice fresh broccoli. Don't use frozen, don't use anything not fresh. Because fresh is always better, it makes every dish taste better. And if you're going to do the broccoli the way I'm telling you, steam it. Steaming it is always better. It saves all the flavor. Nothing gets washed out in the water. We want to steam all the broccoli so that it's nice and fresh. You don't want too much stem also, so let's trim off the stem. Make it nice. All right. So now to steam this, we're going to put this in a basket on top of a pot of boiling water. So let's get ourselves a steamer. Put the broccoli in here and let's put it in our pot of boiling water. Now you should always use some utensil to keep this from burning you because we don't want any accidents in the kitchen. All right, so our chicken cutlet's cooking really nice. We want to flip this over gently. You don't want to splash it. Look at that, it's perfect. That was about a minute or so on one side. Our broccoli is steaming right now. Take a little bit longer for that. You want to steam it till it's just a little past tender. And give it another minute on this. So I used to make this in the restaurant and for all the staff, and it was a big hit. So I just keep making it over and over again, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger hit. So sometimes they call it Mastro chicken instead of Avon chicken, but that's the way it is. All right, so now let's check on our broccoli. So let's come over here. Again, safety first. All right, this looks good. All right, so this broccoli is nice and done. Perfect. All right, so now let's get a plate. Put our broccoli on it. Perfect. All right, put that over there for a minute. All right, so let's move forward with the chicken. So the chicken's done, and we're going to dry it off in a plate with some paper towel. So we'll put this on here. Those are magic paper towels. All right, lay that off there. This way it'll soak up all the extra oil. So we're going to prepare this thing in a pan so that we can bake it after. So we're going to take the chicken, put it in the pan, and we're going to add our béarnaise sauce. So let's make the béarnaise sauce. That's going to go over on the top. I'm going to take some, what I like to use is Knorr béarnaise sauce mix. All right, you're using a mix, but it's quick and it's easy, and it tastes really good. So we're going to put a little of that in there. We're going to add some soy milk, keep it a little healthy, and some butter into that. There you go. We're going to bring that to a boil. All right, so we have all the ingredients in here. Get a nice flame going, and let's stir it in. Now you want to keep stirring the béarnaise sauce, or what will soon be the béarnaise sauce. You don't want to let it burn. This will burn very quickly. So, the flavor. All right, put that here. Now we're going to take some of our broccoli. This beautiful steamed broccoli it has all the flavor in it still because we steamed it. Just going to lay that right on top. Okay, and we're going to take some ham and take some Munster cheese. And we'll put it into the oven. And we're going to bake it for about 10-15 minutes say 350, and this way it'll get nice and brown, the cheese will melt, and the béarnaise sauce will just soak into everything. Let's take our mushrooms. The key is to get a nice plate. So let's find a nice plate. All right, I just happen to have one right here. All right, so now that we have our mushrooms plated, what we want to do is give it a little garnish, a little color, and sometimes people might actually want to put something else on it to change the flavor. I don't know why they would want to do that, but we're going to take some lemon wedges or slices, and we're going to just decoratively place them on the plate. They will to cooperate. There we go. So we get that, put that there, maybe one off to the side here. Okay. And then we'll garnish it with a little parsley. Throw a couple of pieces around here. All right, and here we go. The crab stuffed mushrooms are done. But as I say, it's not done until it's done. And when it's done is when you've actually tasted that last one. Remember the sixth man out or the sixth mushroom out? Well, here it is in the side here. So that one goes to us. Whoops. Let's get in there. See, it's a good thing we didn't serve this because it fell apart. So incredible. Now let's plate the chicken. So let's go over to the oven. And oh, it's beautiful. Look at this. This is amazing. All right, makes you want to eat it right now. So let's get a plate. Of course, presentation is everything. So we're going to take this, and I need that thing. All right, I'm going to hold this, and again, everything here is hot, so be careful. When you want to plate this, put it over to the side. This way, because you're going to take your broccoli now. You're going to garnish the side of the plate with the broccoli. Well, it seems like a lot of broccoli, but this broccoli has no béarnaise sauce. It's clean, it's steamed, and we're ready to go with that. Let's just make it look a little bit better. There we go. Perfect. So there you have it. Avon chicken and stuffed mushrooms. So now we're going to go into the wine, and remember when we started with the wine, you want to make sure that you open it properly. So we're going to take our knife, cut the rim, making sure not to cut yourself, okay, and get the cork right in the center like I said earlier. Now this particular wine is a Simi Chardonnay. This is from California. It's a great wine. I actually was touring California when I came across this wine. It's terrific, and the vineyard's beautiful, and if you ever get a chance to go there, I highly recommend it. It's really great. So we need to smell it. Smell the cork. It's good. It was kept nicely, not standing up. It's always good to chill it. Maybe about 50 degrees is good. So right off the bat, you can smell the wine. You take it in, there's pear, there's a little citrus in there. It's very warm flavor, toasty, oak flavor, kind of a little bit buttery like a Caneros, which is a very buttery wine. This is really, really a beautiful wine. And now for dessert, we're going to pair a sorbet for dessert, so it's nice and light, and we're going to match it with a nice white Riesling, which is really beautiful, and it'll finish off the meal perfectly. All right, so let's get into it. All right, I told you we had something special for dessert, and here it is. We have this beautiful white wine from Germany. It's from Neuschwanstein, named after the castle in Germany. It's probably one of the biggest castles, most famous castles in the world. I don't know if you could see it from the picture in there. But it was built a long time ago. The king was actually, he had a chance to live in it for about a year before the town said, you paid too much for that castle, and I think they evicted him somehow. But this is a beautiful Riesling. It's a good finish, and we're going to pair this with something that goes very well with our dish, a nice sorbet, and we're going to add some fruits to it, and it's just going to be really special. And remember, to open this up, once again, we're going to cut the top off. Okay, nice and smooth. Some are a little harder to open than others. Okay, there we go. Take out your corkscrew. Remember, right in the middle. And give it a twist. You don't want to tear the cork. If you're going sideways or crooked, it won't be good. Give it a little pull. Ah, perfect. Smell. And the pour. The genie is out of the bottle. There he is. Okay. Give it a little swirl, get the air mixing in with it. Well, his eyes are almost open. Can't see anything, but his eyes are open. Oh, very nice. Sweet, perfect finish. It'll mix with any kind of fruits, berries, and what we're going to have is a nice sorbet mixed with some fruits. Let's get to that. So I've pre-prepared some sorbet, and we're going to go over here and pull it out of the fridge. All right, so we pre-scooped some sorbet. We have some lemon sorbet and some raspberry sorbet. And what we're going to do is we're going to throw some berries on here, and just a couple, just to make it look good. Of course, it's all about presentation. Take a couple of blueberries, sprinkle them on top, berry one right on top. And looks perfect to me. All right, so there you have it. Great food, great wine. I'm Tom Mastriani. This is Wine and Dine with Mastro, where food and magic meet.